What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast. I am your host. I am Caitlin Kenneth Smith, and today I'm joined by a familiar face, three-time CrossFit Games athlete Hannah Hardy, who just last week stepped onto the floor for her third CrossFit Games experience, this time in the teams division with CrossFit Francos representing the EMOM Co. They battled through a stack field and came away fifth in the world out of 20 of the fittest teams on the planet. We're diving into everything from this year's build-up, the strategy and the grit that it took to perform at that level, what it really takes to compete in the team division at the games, and what's next for her as an athlete. Whether you're chasing your own competition goals or just want an inside look at what it takes to perform on the world's biggest stage in CrossFit, this one's for you. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Well, let's welcome back Hannah Hardy for her podcast round 2 here on the Powerhouse Mentality. What's up, Hannah?
Hello. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. The biggest question though is how are you? Coming off of the CrossFit Games, and that's why we're here today. Want to talk about the season, want to talk about the games itself, and then of course what's coming up because you just don't slow down apparently.
No. I mean, I wish I was slowing down, but I'm at full steam ahead at least for the foreseeable future. But really, I mean, I'm on cloud nine, man. It's we went into the games thinking it's like our A goal was podium, our B goal
Yeah.
was top five. We had no C goal. That was it. It was either we podium or at least get top five. And the fact that, we put this whole year together in a culmination to this one moment, it is baffling to me. And I pitch myself every day with it being like, oh, we got fifth at the games.
That's so crazy. And I was
Yeah.
watching you guys all weekend and I was just like, they are like watching you like climb crazy shit. I loved seeing it.
Oh my gosh, I felt like I felt like I was doing like legless pegboard climbs. Because
I've heard the
it's so
peg
funny,
I've
like
heard the
luckily,
pegboards out a lot of shit.
yeah, I'm not complaining. It's like all in all, I stepped in some chalk, I guess. I made it slick. Luckily, like at least like around halfway through, Jordan actually like wiped down my shoes. And I could stick to the board, but at that point I was so blown up from only using my upper body really before that I was disappointed in my execution in that event. I'm pretty good at pegboard climbs, so the fact that I didn't get to show that off felt not so great. But luckily Sam's a champ and at least it got us reps when
Yeah,
I couldn't really. And then I decided to take out my anger on the barbell. So at least I ended on a positive note. If the
there you
peg
go.
climbs were the event in total, like say we had something similar to the individuals, I think I would be feeling like some type of way after day one. But we basically it's like, okay, yeah, I was disappointed, but I just got to go ham and I'm pretty sure we had the most reps of the females of the snatch complex.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
so that was pretty dang cool. So it was like, okay, low, but like just came back with a high.
Yeah, at least, yeah, like you said, at least the barbell was like the ending. So you got to like finish on that high and you got to take your anger and frustration out on that. Cause I feel like taking frustration out on a pegboard probably doesn't really help much.
No, it did not help me. It was more so like I'm climbing the pegboard and I'm like, just do not fall from the top. And even, like as I'm and luck it's like, okay, like typically I'll skip pegs on the way up. On the
Mm.
way, so and I was going like just one after another. So I was like, okay, increase time under tension. And really, it's actually the way down from the pegboard that gets sketch because of, I mean, that controlled range of motion.
Hmm.
And I just because of some of my nagging things going into the games, I maybe wasn't as reckless or I was controlled on the way down.
Yeah.
So I want to, tweak some things just in case,
Yeah, that
so
would have
I
sucked
just
if
felt I
you
was
messed up
so blown
yourself on
up,
the
which,
pegboard.
huh?
I said it would have sucked if you messed yourself up on the pegboard or at the beginning of the weekend.
Right. Or like, yeah, to say it's like I messed myself up on the pegboard, I'd be like, all right, Sam, have fun doing, 5 minutes of max snatch complexes on your
Huh.
own, right?
You would have loved
Uh,
that.
but all in all, like I said, like I'm definitely not complaining. It was, everyone had to deal with that in some way, shape, or form. Some people lucked out. And when it comes to competing, sometimes luck is a part of the game. I mean, that's the same thing as, even the programming of the workouts is
Yeah.
you go into a competition and it could be lights out for you, or it could be the worst program comps for you ever. And you have to take it or leave it. So there is a portion of luck that comes into our sport.
And I agree. And I think like this is why I respect you so much as an athlete and why I believe you really do have like the mindset of a champion because you didn't look at the pegboard and you're just like, oh, well, that's why we didn't do well. It's like, no, well, I did the best that I could. And, you tried to do like the legless shit and like you made it happen as much as you can. It was like, okay, it happens. It's part of it. Like, I'm not going to complain about it. We're going to move on to the next event.
Yeah, and I mean it took me years. I know
Hmm.
my first CrossFit Games, I had a flop on an event. It was running and handstand walks, and I immediately went into a 3 rep max back squat. And the sections of the handstand walk, I believe, was 42 feet unbroken on the turf field in Madison. And I actually fell with basically like 3 or 4 feet left to go.
Oh, that's the worst.
And just like this year's games, if there's someone behind you, you had to send them back as well.
Mhm.
And we went from top 5 in the event to 15th. And
Yeah.
I actually just started profusely crying out there. And then my teammate was like, "Hey, you have no choice but to suck it up because you have to go do a 3 rep max back squat now." And luckily, that was my first learning moment of, hey, like you just gotta take it or leave it. You went for it and it failed, and
Mhm.
that's going to happen. But you can't bring that into the next event. And even though, okay, yeah, I was maybe like holding back tears for the first half of the back squat, that was a thing of a that there was like that kind of light bulb of, okay, no, I have to maximize what I can on the back squat because either A, we lost a bunch of points that we could have earned from the event right before, but B, it has no impact on this and now. So
Mhm.
it's okay, that didn't go well, but this is the next opportunity, which is actually really cool because you can actually, correct what was wrong. And we ended up getting third in the back squat. So
Yep.
it's one of those things that was a learning moment of, all right, like if something goes bad, don't worry because you have something else that's going to like you can, change the course again.
Mhm. It's really about how you respond to things, right? Because we can't control everything that happens. Like sometimes shit just happens, right? It's like you didn't purposefully like fall at the end. It's just like, oh, my shoulders just they felt good, then they didn't feel good. So it's
Yeah,
like you have to move forward from it and just be honest with yourself and say like, hey, failure is part of the process, but how can I move forward from this?
exactly. It was a learning moment, and of course you want to learn from events. Maybe you always want them to go in your favor.
Of course,
But
but that's
yeah,
not possible usually. There's even Tia Toomey who wins the games every year at this point. Like she has shitty events, right? Very
right,
rare, but she does. Like the pegboard event didn't really fall in her favor there.
right, exactly. Like she had a moment like that, and it's funny when like the when commentators are like, "Oh, Tia's slipping" when she gets like second in an event.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm like,
but
yeah, slipping.
But there's all like something's always gonna happen, and like that's a-okay. Like to be honest, I want to go into a competition and take something from it versus,
Hmm.
okay, what if I can't take back things to the gym to work on, or whether it's a mindset, something in my recovery. If I don't learn something, like what was the point of going to the event anyway?
Yep, absolutely. I agree with that. So let's talk about the season, like leading up to it. So how did you guys come together as a team? Because you guys are from like all different places, but obviously like you all fall under like the EMOM Co training, correct? Is that where you guys met?
Yep, that's how all of us met. I actually knew Josh way back in the day. We both followed Misfit together.
Okay.
And so we just kind of, and then we reconnected when I joined Company this time last year. So really, I get a text from Josh and he said, "Hey, can we jump on a call sometime soon?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, let's talk about it." I was like, "What's up?" And he asked, he was like, "Would you consider going team again?" And I said, "Absolutely." That's been my put or at least my focus first and foremost for
Yeah.
most of my competitive career. Of course, I've had
Hmm.
individual experiences, but I love the team environment, especially at the games.
Yeah.
I mean, it always that was like what drew me in the CrossFit in the first place. So
Hmm.
when he said that, and I mean, especially because he got 10th last year, I'm flattered because my best placing at that point on the team side of things was 19th. It's like I got 19th and 21st or 22nd. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like this guy actually wants to go team with me. And then again, the nostalgic of, okay, we've known each other since the 2015 or 2016, 2017, and seeing both of us grow within the sport. I
Yeah.
So I was taken away. I was like taken aback. I said, obviously said yes. then we, went over just like our past team experiences, what we wanted to get out of this team, and then who he wanted to ask for our other two teammates. So
Mhm.
after last year's games, Jordan and Josh are pretty tight already since they're both from Missouri, and they wanted to go team together. So they were but trying to find two fit girls. Uh, Josh, I think, was knew that I would be pretty much gung ho since I've been going team for a while. And
Yeah.
then when it came to Sammy, he actually asked me if I would think that she would consider it. And I didn't know at first because I know Sam has really been an individual athlete this entire
Yeah.
time. And I just replied, I don't think it hurts. I think, if I say something, potentially Brandon says something to her, then she would consider going team. And I think Brandon talking to her and saying like, hey, we would love you to represent the EMOM company with
Yeah.
Josh, Jordan, and me. I think it really, hit home with her, and that's how.
Brandon has some very wise words always. He's actually going to be on the podcast next week, so I'm pumped to have him on.
Oh, let's go. I always love Brandon. I mean, like his mindset is bar none. He
Crazy.
like he knows how to pump us up. He knows, exactly what to say when spirits are high, spirits are low. It's like I mean, I call him a servant leader anytime that I can because he doesn't just, say the things that are going to, get people to gather around him and like whether support him or his cause or what he's pushing for, but he's in the trenches
Yep.
himself.
Always
And
working. And like this man, like I remember like the first conversation I had with him where he was like, "Let me introduce myself. Here's what I," and I was like, "Oh, you're the guy with EMOM Co." And he was like, "Yeah, but I'm also this and I have a fam." And I'm like, "Holy shit, dude, what don't you do?" Like,
oh yeah, no, it's crazy. And that's the thing too, like with Brandon is I've known him since 2018. I remember we went to a Misfit camp that summer before his, I believe, first or second CrossFit Games.
mhm.
Uh, and it's been so cool just I mean seeing him him grow like both like as an athlete, as a person, now like, husband and father too.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing his like even start of the EMOM company because I knew he just did that as a little side project when he retired, I believe the second time.
Yeah.
So it's been so cool to see. And yeah, like I look up to him a ton because I'm trying to juggle a lot of things along with being an athlete and I,
Yeah.
pick his brain a ton to figure out like, okay, like how can, I maximize my athletic career? How can I maximize my career? And then even grow as a person. So it's,
Mhm.
having him at the forefront and leading us throughout this weekend and this entire year. I mean, it's a dream come true, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. So he was like the person who kind of convinced Sammy to be like, "Yeah, you should probably take this opportunity."
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was me. I think it was I'm
She's like,
giving
"I'm pretty
credit to Brandon.
convincing, but I don't think it was me."
No, I don't think it was me. Maybe she was flattered, but I think Brandon was the one that definitely convinced her to be like, okay, let's, like, give this a shot.
Yeah, yeah. So then when did you guys like meet for the first time as a team?
So we met in November. We at just like an impromptu kind of get together with some of the people that are local or at least around the New Orleans area.
Hmm.
And
Was that
so
that camp that they did, the Southland? Is that what is it called?
no, this was
No,
actually before
different.
Southland.
Oh, nice.
It's like we got like, just again just like some local people together, said like, hey, we'll have a fun weekend. Nothing. It was like like pseudo planned, but it was
Yeah,
really to get the team together and then also just to get the community together. Because
yeah.
first and
That's what it's
foremost,
about.
yeah, exactly. We're all about the EMOM company because they brought us together and helped us get to the CrossFit Games. And we're in the trenches all the time. We followed the blog. We had very few training pieces that were outside of what everyone else is doing. Uh,
Hmm.
Even though I think so many people believe that everyone has this individual programming or whatnot. No, I open Train Heroic and scroll and I'm like, okay, these are the pieces that I'm doing today. And every so often, Brandon's like, hey, all right, the game says a bunch of running. We're just gonna add in a couple more running pieces each week. So
Yeah,
we
and
don't
Hannah's
have to
like, "Damn it,
necessarily
running."
Oh,
Oh.
I mean that was me 24/7. But it's to say is, but other than that, we're doing the metcons, we're doing the strength.
Yeah, and it's
Everything else is
legit
the
stuff.
same.
Like honestly, anytime because people, I post like full days of training, and people are like, "Oh, well, what do you follow?" And I was like, "Well, I have a coach." And then they ask me like, "Oh, what have you tried any programs?" I always recommend EMOM Company because like the workouts are legit. My coach follows it too.
Yeah. No, I mean for me is I've followed a few programs, Misfit,
Yeah.
which of course again like Brandon first came from.
Hmm.
Then I spent a stint with TTT and now I'm with EMOM, and
Hmm.
I believe that I mean EMOM it has helped me become the fittest that I have ever been from
Yeah.
a conditioning standpoint.
Oh God, yeah.
I think Misfit gave me that first aerobic base that I needed. I think
Hmm.
TTT helped me with some strength and skill deficits. Then I went back to EMOM Co, and now having like those two backgrounds, I just catapulted myself because it
Hmm.
was exactly what I needed to blend the two together. So it's to the point of okay, like it's like yes, I have like one of the better engines in the sport, but it's okay, I can hold with pulling gymnastics like actual like old gymnasts that have now converted into CrossFit.
Yeah.
My strength numbers are actually not just they're not the bottom of the pack. They are middle to sometimes, if I'm lucky, actually top in the field.
Hell yeah.
So and I mean, it's all thanks to EMOM Co. And I really just think it's the community that we get to see a leaderboard and I get to share scores with people and, pseudo compete, but cheer each other on. And
Yeah.
they support me when I'm down. I get to support them when they're down or when they achieve something that they've been wanting to, whether we're in touch with a bunch of masters athletes to say it's like Nick Height going to the Masters CrossFit Games and
Hmm.
see and we're like waiting because we're like waiting, he was the first backfill in, and
Yeah.
we're just waiting for that because we knew some people declined, and now people qualifying for Legends or people doing Monster Games right before the CrossFit
Yeah.
Games. A lot of people heading up for that. I'm excited for Pensacola Beach Brawl because I know,
So pumped.
you and then tons of other EMOM company people are doing it. And I just get
I'm
to
so
throw
pumped for that.
down at the beach for a weekend with, virtual and real and virtual friends that are about to come actual real friends.
Yeah, yeah. No, EMOM Co is awesome. Like my coach Eric, who does my programming, he sometimes will take like a piece from like a 30-minute EMOM or something, and I swear like I've never been more fit conditionally. And I'm like more of an enduring athlete, so being able to like push things and like see the Echo bike like getting better at it from just doing these hellish sprints. Like I know we've spoken about like the 30-minute EMOM piece, like every 3 minutes you have to hit a certain amount of calories on the bike, like in less
Yeah,
than 30 seconds or less than a minute, how like you're finished for the rest of the day. But then you do it and you're like, wow, I did that for 10 rounds. Congratulations. And it just instills confidence when you're doing tough pieces like that.
absolutely. And I mean, it's one of those things that, all right, like take now, I'm doing the Crash Crucible qualifier.
Mhm.
And based on like the pieces that we do is okay, like even I know like how hard I can go on a machine. So actually like me like even like tailoring back some is I can sustain this forever because I've sustained a higher pace for also longer.
Yep.
And being able to even know like just because of whether it's again EMOMs and knowing, okay, I can do this amount of reps on the minute. It typically takes me this amount of time. These
Yep.
are all notes that I write down so that okay, I go into a qualifier and I know exactly how I need to split things up to maximize my performance.
Yeah.
It really is based on these EMOMs and tracking down my splits for everything so that I can maximize any event that I go into.
Yeah, I truly believe like confidence in competition comes from the preparation you do with training. So like if you're doing all these hard pieces and you know like, hey, I've done worse than, or I've been able to hold harder than that for longer. So I can do this. And whether or not like you're feeling your best or not, you still have that like mental confidence going into it.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, and I mean, you will be exposed at
Oh yeah.
competition if you haven't been putting in the work,
Yeah.
which is a learning point in itself. So, uh,
Absolutely.
but yeah, I like whatever, I always tell people that Brandon might have a little bit of a screw loose based on some of the pieces that he gives us. And
There are
don't get me
sometimes where he'll post and be like, I apologize to my community for programming this. And I'm like, oh dear Lord.
Yeah, no, I mean, like even like coming back to normal training this week to, maybe get 2 regular days of training in before the qualifier. Our EMOM was, all right, EMOM 30, minute 1, 20 wall balls, minute 2, 75 double unders, minute 3, 12 cal echo. And it's again like one of those pieces where you're like, okay, the wall balls are going to take me between,
Yep.
if I want to be fast, 36 to 40 seconds. The double
Hmm.
under is going to take me between probably 39 and 41 seconds. The
Yep.
bike is probably going to take between 40 and like 43 seconds. So, and just being like, and also getting back into those things, I was like, bruh, I'm gonna die because
Yeah.
we didn't have much squatting at the games, and then of course I tapered a little bit. So
Yeah.
I feel like I just started CrossFit again and am so
Yeah.
sore. And going downstairs is really hard. There is no control. I just basically slide or I
Yeah.
just fall downstairs basically.
It's like I've been here before. I know how to do this. So you guys met for the first time back in November. Now, when
Mhm.
you first met, was it just like, did you guys click immediately, or did you feel like it took a little bit of time?
I think we actually clicked immediately.
That's good.
I think like for all of us, we were just super stoked that okay, we
Oh
have
yeah.
this opportunity to represent EMOM Company, and we that kind of fueled us in the first half of our just interactions before the game season started. So in the
Hmm.
open, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So after that, we met a few more times. We met at the beginning of January from that November date. Then we met for Southland Camp right
Hmm.
before the open started. So we had 3 times that it's like, okay, we got to meet each other, we got to work on some team-esque things. And then we did have, okay, the stint of the open where we are competing individually against each other, but for a
Yeah.
team of 4, but then have some moments that, okay, we can get some more team touches in. And that was, I would say the open was the bulk of our training together because we
Yeah.
spent one time for the first week, we spent a long weekend, and then between for weeks 2 and 3, we got in on the Sunday of week 2 and then left, I believe, the Thursday or Friday of week 3. So we had like
Yeah.
a bigger chunk there. Um, but that was like when I would say that, maybe like the honeymoon phase started to die off and and that's actually when, so our team actually worked with a mental performance coach. Her name's Katie Boschko.
That's great. I feel
And,
like that is such an underrated thing in this sport.
oh, absolutely. She spoke at Southland Camp, and I actually went up to her myself to, I mean, chat about, my own, mental game. But along with even like talking to her about team dynamics
Mhm.
and, what some of my experiences from teams in the past, I didn't want to go into the season. So she, Brandon, and I decided, hey, like, why don't we actually sit down as a team, like write out a mission, write out our goals, talk about how like what our communication styles are, and just to see it's like okay, we get it out on paper, and some of us are gonna fail communication wise, and that definitely happens leading up to the games, at whether it was Crash Crescendo or even like some of our training weekends, but it was okay the effort to try and to say it's like okay, I respond with messages of support. Like I don't want that tough love. A lot of the people on my team like the tough love. So that was a mismatch between the team and I that we actually definitely butted heads on for a part of the season. But
Mhm.
that if we didn't have that one point at the beginning of the season to talk about these things,
Mhm.
then we couldn't work on it. So and the games, instead of just getting fifth,
Yeah.
we it could have ended much worse because there are moments it's like, all right, like take the run, row, run. I knew that was going to be a tricky event for me, and I was the slowest teammate, but I was very proud of my performance. And even though
And no
I was,
heat stroke.
yeah, no heat stroke. Oh my
Love
gosh.
that.
We actually Raph Duran and I joked about that before the event. He's like, you're not gonna get a heat stroke again this year, right? And because he literally like actually like in the event, like his team passed us and he obviously saw me not looking well. He's like, are you okay? And his teammates were like, why are you asking? And he's just like, she's dying and we're about to pass them anyway, so it's okay. Like we're also in last. So
Hello, we're
Like
doing a
technically
run,
she was,
row, run. Of course I'm dying. Like that's a
yeah.
lot of stuff going on. I-
But I was but yeah, I was floored about the my performance, even though yeah, I was the slowest of my teammates. And it was, I think, again, from working on our communication throughout this entire season, was that we like, I mean, we banded together, and I got high fives, I got hugs, and that was exactly what I needed there, because
Mhm.
they could have just been like, okay, we finished, like,
Yep.
and I didn't get the okay, like, we're here to support, like, because I could have spiraled because I was the slowest, and even though I was proud of myself, like, I still want my teammates to be proud of
Yeah,
me.
and it's easy to get in your head in those situations where like you start creating these stories that aren't real, like, oh, did I disappoint them because they didn't like do these things? I think we all find ourselves there sometimes.
Exactly. So that was, I mean, after that event, that was, and especially just like, I mean, again, like our communication after that, I knew it was gonna be an amazing weekend
Yeah,
because
I think it's about setting like the appropriate expectations that you did at the beginning of the season. It's like, hey, I know how everybody ticks, and we're kind of getting to know each other's personalities, and we know what we respond well to, what we don't respond, and we can use that in those high pressured situations at the games to work to your advantage instead of like the teams who are probably, maybe they had better talent, but they didn't have any good communication. That's part of the team.
exactly, exactly. And I mean, I want this year after year. Yeah, like, if I have the chance to go team again, it is the no, like, I want to sit down. Like, we did the Myers-Briggs personality test. We got to
Nice.
talk about like what again makes us tick. And if you don't know that, you either hope that everyone follows everyone's lead, or there's going to be shouting matches.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, like, this was like the first time where I was like, yeah, I don't want the shouting match this year.
Yeah, because like the reality is everybody who's at the games, they're fucking fit. But what's like the biggest difference is on a team communication, but also mindset as a whole?
Right, right. Everyone going into the games that have similar numbers, similar speeds, like they're like everyone's the best of the best.
Yeah.
Like you could rock it out of semifinal, but then everyone else also rocked their semifinal.
hmm
Is y- what really separates everyone is again that mindset of it's pushing harder on the team side. It is the communication styles, and if things are falling apart, it's not freaking out. It's just read. It's readjusting on the fly and communicating well and fast, like we have been working on, and going forth.
hmm
So so I like 100% recommend, whether you're an individual or a team, like act like really working on that, and working with a professional in the space.
Yeah. And even if you're not an athlete and if you're just somebody who has like a family or works in a business, like just teamwork is like so important and communication is so important in all aspects of our life. Like crazy.
Right, right. And it's a thing of, again, it's like, if you don't, this is the thing that needs to be worked on. It's like
hmm
there's going to be some organic growth as people get to know each other, but the best teams are the ones that work to be the best teams, and work on communication and work on systems, and realize like what each individual needs, and what each individual is good at and what each individual is not good at, so you can get the help that you need. Or if you can ball out on a certain thing, let them ball out, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, that goes beyond athletics. It goes into work. It goes into life.
Yeah. I love it. Well, let me ask, were there any like really big challenges that you guys faced as a team?
Um, so not at the games. No, actually, I think the games went really well.
That's awesome.
Um, so I'll actually tell you. So at Crash Crescendo, which was our one in-person comp before we did the CrossFit Games or did
Mhm.
semifinals, that was a tough weekend for us. We got second, but it was a tough weekend, and that was when I out on the first event there was some running involved. I maybe what it was, whether the communication with myself during that event, or me trying to relay to the team that I was dying. It's like my tone did not come across well to the team, and it really put a damper on the entire weekend.
Mm.
So I mean, I definitely own that. However, and it got to the point where like Josh and I actually were in somewhat of a shouting match, I think, at the end of the weekend. So after that event, it was something where, okay, going back to the drawing board, I'm like, okay, where did I go wrong communication wise? Okay, where, and then all of us going, like, talking about these things. It's like, okay, what did I do well? What did not do well?
Hmm.
What could we work on as a team? What can we work on individually so this doesn't happen again?
Yeah.
And that, because that was a huge growing moment for us. It was really actually, I mean, it was the first time that we competed together, and that was it. But, luckily we're fit and we got second. But if, maybe it wasn't me putting, that first initial damper on the weekend,
Hmm.
um that okay, maybe we could have won
Yeah.
because is like we it really did feel like I also was at a chiropractic conference during it, so that also probably like wasn't the best
Typical
plan.
Hannah just juggling multiple things at once.
Yeah, I'm like in the morning trying to learn and get continuing education credits, and then in the afternoon trying to compete with my team against, like the podium. We all got top five at the CrossFit Games. So,
That's crazy.
maybe it wasn't the best look on my part, but I do think from that weekend, all of us definitely learned something. It's like
Yeah.
whether, it's how I came across, it's whether how they reacted. Um, and again, even though we learned our communication styles, that was the first time that under pressure, we're trying to like also take that into account, and we failed.
Yeah. Well, everything
So
happens for a reason in that sense because like maybe if it didn't happen then, could it have happened at the games if you didn't learn from that moment, you know?
exactly. And it was one of those things that, going to online semis is like also it's like also working on that and seeing that okay, like we like there were events that were not a shouting match, but chaos was amongst us, especially the three-person synchro dumbbell workout. But I think that was all
I
team.
saw that video like everywhere and I didn't know why I saw that video everywhere.
Oh
What was the
my
shit
gosh.
going down
I
with
think
that one?
every single team was like, what is this workout? We're all dying. But anywho, I mean, again, that was our second weekend. We took what we needed to work on from Crash and implement it into online semis and again, and crushed it.
Yeah.
Um, and to say is like, okay, we really improved on this in the last month. Um, you know, we've kind of like, buried the hatchet sort of thing from the Crash event. And we're like, all right, like we did well, we made the games, and now we still have 3 months to still work on a communication style and
Hmm.
still work on our fitness individually and as a team. So it was really, it's like that kind of that turning point of the season that was Crash was so impactful for us.
Yeah. So going into the games, like, what is your strategy as an athlete? Like, because I know everybody kind of has a different thing, but typically we taper, right? Is what people should do at least. So what does it kind of look like for you going into the games?
So for me, I ended up starting to taper the Saturday before the games. So I mean, like a little less than a week. But or it was. I mean, I was trying to make it through Saturday with a higher volume of training.
Hmm.
I just for myself leading for that week before the games, I thought I was initially going to start tapering the beginning of that week. And I noticed that, I mean, my teammates and also Brandon was kind of like, hey, like, let's try to make it toward like to the end of to the end of this week. And I totally understood. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
we're getting the volume, we're getting last minute touches. But my body was breaking down. My nagging aches and pains were rearing their head. I felt that I wasn't recovering that well. My sleep started getting impacted, and that's when I
That's when
knew
you know.
kind of a red flag of okay, something needs to change. So for me, it's like I started to taper a tad earlier than my teammates, so that okay, I could feel well. We have a 1 rep max back squat. We
Yeah.
have again this run row run that I'm like putting a lot of pressure on myself for,
Hmm.
and just feel and hopefully letting the inflammation die down from my body and to let them heal before we add a boatload of intensity at the games. Which then really is like I hit the games feeling really, really good.
That's
So
awesome too.
yeah, so I do think like in hindsight, I could have probably started tapering maybe a tad sooner, maybe like trying to get through Monday and Tuesday and then start dropping some volume from there.
Mhm.
But in the end, I'm so glad that I listened to my body and listened to myself. Uh,
Very important things that not a lot of us are good at.
yeah, like just to say is okay, even though your teammates are doing this, is you need to listen to yourself right now because you know yourself best and you're not flaking out because you don't want to work. You 100% want to work. But
Hmm.
if the games are in mind and you and me doing an extra piece or an extra strength is going to just debilitate me even further, then I don't need to do it right now. It's like I'm
Yeah.
not going that week before the games, I'm not getting better. I'm not getting better at
Mhm.
all. Like
True.
I'm greasing the groove of some of the movements that we knew going into the games. And
Hmm.
that was what that week was for. And,
Hmm.
by the weekend, I was like, this is what the games, like, this is what this is for. And I'm glad I listened to myself because, again, in years past, I potentially would not have listened to myself because I would want to work at least, up until the week of the CrossFit Games and not saying, like, hey, I can actually back off a little bit before. And that would probably be better for me in the long run.
Yeah. What kind of stuff were you dealing with as far as like aches and pains and like different symptoms? Because I know you mentioned the sleeping thing, which is a huge red flag. Because I know for me, that's like if I'm waking up multiple times during the night, it's like, oops, I probably need to eat more, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So that was the biggest red flag. For me, I pretty much all season been dealing with golfer's elbow.
Mm.
Some days are better than others, but it really has been me trying to get better at upper body pulling forever in the sport. That is kind of my, other than a one arm max strength, the upper body pulling is one of my weaker points in the sport. So I was really just trying to hammer it really, really hard, and it's
Yeah.
really, really hard on my elbows. So it was to
And
a
it's
point.
really hard too because your upper body like can't handle as much volume as the lower body. It can't recover as well, you
Right,
know?
right. And it was me being like, okay, like what can I take out? What can I still do and not really exacerbate it? There was a time like during games prep, I think I went 2.5 weeks not even doing an Olympic lift, because
That's
it hurt
crazy
so
when you
much.
say that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, like there was it's like these things and I'm terrified that they're gonna be like one rep max clean. And I was like, the last thing I want to do right now is a clean. It hurts my elbow really badly.
Yeah. Back squat
So
definitely was much better for you.
yeah, I was like, thank the Lord it's a squat.
Yeah.
And but then still like my back squat isn't like like I had a 15-pound PR at the games.
That's
Uh
epic.
yeah, I was again floored. But going in, I'm like, oh man, like I'm not the strongest athlete out there. I'd much rather it be okay, we have like a ladder of barbells,
Yeah.
or we just have a workout with a heavy implement in it. I'm much
Yeah.
better at those. So it was that also was like, oh no, I was like, I would need to hit 300. That's that's 15 pounds away from my current PR.
So you hit
And
the 300, right?
I did hit the 300, which was again wild. Adrenaline is awesome. Uh, and I wore knee sleeves maybe I never wear knee sleeves unless I do pistols or say like heavy walking lunges in a workout. And I don't know if they helped me. They're pretty loose, but whether it's that, the crowd, the fact that I needed to hit 300 because we really wanted to win the event because our guys are so strong.
Yeah, they
So it was
are.
really on us to, lift as heavy as we could. Uh, yeah, that like culminated into like such a like event. Anywho, but I was dealing with the elbow pretty much all season. It was really rearing its head in games training. And then every so often, the injury that I sustained at Crash Crucible in the fall, it wasn't as bad, but my right SI joint was definitely
Yeah.
chirping a little bit at me,
That's
depending
the
on
worst one too.
the
Like
day.
I've had SI joint stuff. It's like, oh, the worst.
Yeah, and it's to say is, like sometimes it's fine, and then other times I
Hmm.
can't handle an arch position. Or I just like turn wrong and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, like I like have to stop for a second. Then randomly actually the week of the games, I started to develop like some like Achilles irritation, which I was like, oh no. I was like, we have 6 miles of running, we have like it was only 150 double unders with double unders. But luckily that kind of went down as like the game
That's
started. Like,
good. That's
okay, my
good.
my body was like, okay, it's ready. Like you're ready to go.
Hmm.
And that's like even a thing that this is actually what Katie brought up to in her Southland talk was going into like say a week out from a competition or just like something major in your life, like your body's going to take inventory of itself. And that's
Yep.
when, okay, you might actually feel your aches and pains more. You might
I've
feel
heard of
your
this. Yeah.
anxieties more because your body's just trying to prepare you
Mhm.
and, make and heighten your awareness of these things so you can get them taken care of before they become an actual real problem at the event.
Mhm.
And that was like what I believe my body was doing at that time. I was like, hey, let's chill. And that's why I started my taper a little bit early, was
Yeah.
that, okay, like, and again, the sleep thing. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, I can't take this anymore.
And that's the worst because sleep is such a big part of recovery, and for you not to be able to sleep, it's just like inhibits everything.
Right, right. And it was like, okay, like I'm already not recovering the best from
Yeah.
training. I'm trying to eat more. I'm trying to sleep. But it was like, okay, even though I did like start eating more, the sleep wasn't budging. It was like, okay, well, the only thing that can budge right now is just like all I'm doing in training. And it was to the point of, okay, luckily that we like okay, that week going into the games, it was like, okay, I'm starting to get more sleep and I could actually sleep through the night. So like, okay, Monday night is like, okay, I slept 8.5 hours. Tuesday night after I got to Albany, I think I slept for 10 hours.
Oh,
Like,
beautiful.
thank the Lord, I'm being able to sleep now.
It's
Uh,
incredible what proper recovery, like, and fueling enough or like reduction in volume can do for your sleep. Because I know, like, when I've been working with Cheryl since January, I think at this point, and we've increased my calories very slowly over time. And I was having a conversation with her earlier this week, and I was like, I don't wake up in the middle of the night anymore. Like I used to wake up like at least twice, and
mhm.
now I don't. I was like, that's crazy. Like food is actually working. Weird, right?
Yeah, it's like food, actual recovery.
Yeah.
Uh, it's like it does wonders to the body. You're actually in
Mhm.
like a nice like parasympathetic mode, so you can actually go to sleep and your body's not like always on this like ready to jump at a moment's notice, which is waking up in the middle of the night. So yeah, it's wild. And
Mhm.
even like I was like I would chit chat with Cheryl because we always it's like we go back and forth with scores and I was like I work with her actually I was like I work with her company and yeah, we talk about this all the time. And whether it's like more often than not, it's just both of us saying that, oh, maybe we need to reduce our volume when like and almost like giving us the approval of saying like, oh
Right.
no, let's reduce volume for a little bit. Like seeing like how 3 days of reduced volume, or maybe we don't hit that active recovery piece on
Hmm.
a Thursday. Like maybe we actually take 2 complete rest days this week and seeing
Hmm.
how that feels. It's nice to, I mean, even just like have that person to bounce
Hmm.
back and forth ideas and again, just say that, okay, we're all go-getters in this sport. I think there's very few people that are just lackadaisical in their training and are like, nah, I'll just like, I don't need to do, my
Yeah,
second session.
it's like you really kind of can't.
Yeah, yeah, like it's
It takes a certain kind
definitely
of person to be in this sport. You kind of have to, like you
right.
said with Brandon, have like a screw loose a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit, just a
Just a
little
little
bit.
bit, not
All
too
of us have a
much.
little bit of a screw loose.
I'll be the first to admit that.
Same here, same here. But yeah, it's like even just like having that person, whether again it's a nutrition coach, whether it's your coach, whether it's your significant other, a
Hmm.
friend, a training partner, to say is, like saying like, hey, it's okay if, I rest, right? And, like having that and letting them be real and saying like, no, you're actually not training. You just
Hmm.
want to get out of training. You
Yep.
need to dig deep. Or saying like, yeah, you have been training a lot. Like I think you need just a little bit of rest. Like
Mhm.
it's not like you're taking a month off.
Yeah.
So, and again, getting that approval, saying like, okay, no, that's the actually like more mentally tough thing to do.
Yeah. So you got to Albany on Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I drove up, got then on Tuesday. Our check-in was Wednesday. We had orientation Thursday, and then kickoff on Friday.
Hmm. So going into this game, because obviously first time in Albany, and I think probably only time in Albany. How did it go?
I thought it was awesome. They, like, of course, I only knew of Madison, and
Yeah.
Madison is it's a festival feel. You're at the venue. There's several different, I mean, places on campus to go.
Yeah.
Whether again, it's the competition floors, whether it's the campground, the vendor village, it's all in one place. And this year, I thought it was really cool because, like, okay, all the events, I mean, minus the Run Row Run, which I thought that was an epic outdoor event. It was a
It
beautiful.
looked so cool, and the weather I heard was like night and day difference from what it was last year.
Oh my gosh, it was like it was 70 degrees.
That's
Like, it was
incredible. Right
cold
on the water
walking.
too.
Yeah, it was cold walking to the venue. It was awesome. Like, could not have asked for more perfect weather.
Yeah, that's what you need in
Yeah.
that kind of an event.
Oh my gosh, because I was so hot. I mean, I sat in a cold plunge without any problems.
Yeah,
After,
I'm sure.
and yeah, like, and realized I did not hydrate that well, or at least like I was hydrated going in and then not hydrated after. Uh,
Yeah,
but it was really cool because then the rest of the events were just like you're just in the Coliseum the entire time, and the energy inside is epic. Versus,
that's
though
great.
I love the field events, those are the spectacles that people typically remember, like whether it's the Capitol, whether it's using Big Bob if you're in the team division. This year is like, okay, we might have not necessarily had these, spectacle events, but we had the energy of, okay, what a Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday
Hmm.
night, or Sunday afternoon is the entire weekend. And I love that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what I really did enjoy watching it because like it just you could tell there was like electric energy that you would get normally just in like that Friday night Coliseum type thing.
Yeah. So I like that was very like I didn't think of that going into it.
Yeah.
So I was super surprised. Um the like I think my only two pain points, which well I'll give up another like positive. They had some of Vendor Village outside of the arena, and it almost had this like I get like a street festival feel where it's like, okay, you have they have vendors that, okay, you could shop, you could get your coffee, you can get your food. And again, it just felt like, yeah, you're at like a little street market, which I
Yeah.
thought was a really cool vibe.
Yeah.
Uh, then unfortunately, the rest of Vendor Village, as well as the athlete chill area, was a walks away from the rest of the main arena. So
Hmm.
I think that was really like the only pain point that I had. But other than that, again, like I thought Albany was actually really cool. Um, Interesting city in itself.
It
Uh,
is a very interesting city. Yeah.
yeah, very interesting city in itself. But they still like, I mean, just like Madison, they really tried to hype up the games. There was
That's good.
tons of like all of the lampposts had games flyers on them.
Hmm.
You have Andrew Hiller going out and being like,
I
"Who's
saw
that?"
that.
And like, "Why should you go to the games?" And "Are you going to the games?" And I thought that
Be
was,
like, I don't even know about the game. I'm just
yeah, I know. I mean, most of them were. They're like, what is this thing, right?"
yeah. But
And you
that's
get.
actually a good thing because you're getting people who don't know what it is. Now they know what it is. So it's like, oh, maybe I'll look into this CrossFit thing, you know?
Right, and there's tons of CrossFit gyms in the Albany area too. So I
Hmm.
really hope they got an influx of people coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
So all in all, I actually was floored with the experience. It definitely exceeded my expectations. I
That's
think
great.
I hope it exceeded most people's. Uh, but it's like, again, it's just you had to go in knowing that it was going to be different than Fort Worth, and it was going to be different than Madison. It was going to be different than Carson. I
Hmm.
know, the same thing of moving venues to Madison. I know people were wary, and then
Yeah.
people who grew to absolutely love it. Then moved
Hmm.
to Fort Worth, and of course, it didn't have the time that or the situation to
Yeah, it
make
was just probably not a good situation.
enjoy it. Albany is okay. This is probably our only year there, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would go back to Albany. And I think other people would say, if we had to be here one more year, it'd be totally fine.
Hmm.
Uh, I think say like maybe the only other thing was, which I don't know why it always happens every year, flights always somehow get so disrupted going into any CrossFit Games location.
Which
So
is why it's so important to get there much earlier.
yes, and the fact that I could drive was very nice.
That is nice. Yep.
So I was like, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Great.
I wouldn't be opposed going back there, even though I don't think we're gonna go back there.
I've
Um,
heard that it's probably going to be somewhere else next year. I've heard that Dave Castro was talking to some people about it, but I don't. It's just what you hear, you know?
yeah, and I mean, no, I think they're gonna be at a different location. Uh,
Hmm.
but all in all, I thought Albany was a great host city, so good
Hmm.
for them.
So I actually have a question because like we were talking about like the run, swim, run, row, run, and how like you maybe weren't very hydrated coming out of it, but like what is it like for an event like that where it's like pretty early in the morning? Like what does fueling and hydrating look like for something like that? Because obviously performance is super important and fueling is a huge part of that.
Yeah. So for me, it all really is the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily we did get to go at a later time. The individuals went, then we went. So our
Like,
kickoff was 9:15. So that's like actually pretty much when I train,
yeah.
or I'm training before that time. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can actually eat a breakfast. So the night before, I'm shoveling carbs. I was trying to get upwards of like close to 500 every day when I was there. And then of being really just drinking as much water and like really like electrolytes as much as I could.
Hmm.
Go like that night before and that morning of. Like I tried to get in, I think I got probably at least maybe like 64 ounces before going into the event.
Yeah.
Uh, Hydrating during the event, I tried to drink water on the course. I realized I can't run and drink at the same time. So I
Yeah, I'm
basically
totally
just
that
like put
person
it in my
too.
mouth and spit it out.
Hmm.
And then I took a swig of water right before my second run. But other than that, it really starts the night before. The morning of, I really just ate like a bunch of carbs. I had cereal. Like that was like my main uh carb source in the
So
morning.
what's your cereal then? Like, because that's obviously a controversial topic.
Oh yeah. So for me it's Frosted Flakes. I don't know
Mm,
why. I
classic.
don't know if it's just like the old commercials and that's what you eat for sports. So my cereal, Frosted Flakes are my go-to. Of the rest of the weekend though, potentially it was like English muffins in the morning, or if I didn't want something that maybe had some heft, I would have rice cakes as
Yeah.
well. So it was a combination of like one or a combination or at least like one of those things. And my protein intake was probably pretty low until dinner time. I would maybe have like half of a protein shake or maybe like a half of a David bar or something along those lines. But it was mainly how many carbs gonna have at this period
Hmm.
of time, and then at night, okay, that's when I can eat more fat, I can eat protein, um, and of course eat more carbs.
Yeah, because I feel like when you're training, like when you're in the games, like you have nerves, you have just like the stimulus, so your body's under a lot of stress. That like, do you struggle with your appetite at all, like in those situations?
I actually don't, which
That's
like
awesome.
thank the Lord. Yeah, like I probably eat like I feel like I'm actually hungrier when I'm in
Mhm.
those situations because I think my energy is high. I think I mean I'm a fidgeter, so I think I'm fidgeting more, I'm moving more. Okay, I'm more diligent with my warm-ups. I'm actually like really taking the time. So I'm actually hungrier. So I find myself that okay, sometimes I really have to say like, hey Hannah, you can't eat because you have to go warm up and you don't want to throw up.
Yeah,
Uh, so luckily, yeah, I don't have an issue eating in competitions, which is very nice.
that's good. And so like between events, you were just trying to get as much carbs as possible, not really concerned with anything else.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I ate rice cakes, like I said, like it was again like the rice cake, cereal, English muffin, that little trio, applesauce pouches.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, it was pretty much all that. If I would have maybe like a piece of candy or two if like someone offered. But I kind of just like my bland
You
diet
know, it
of
works.
white processed foods. Uh,
Hmm.
and it works for me. And I absolutely like, I feel good. I feel energized doing it. It digests really easy for me. And it's finding what works best for you. Like I
Hmm.
know other people can have complete meals. I can if there's several hours in between events,
Yeah,
but our days were pretty packed. So even though we were actually walking distance from our hotel, it's like I would go back to the hotel still eating like these simple foods. And or if I'm staying at the venue, okay, I'm just packing it with me.
yeah.
Yeah, so but for me, I don't try to eat like an actual meal. It is okay, no, just like using the things that I know that work best for me and sticking to it.
Super important. Yep. You shouldn't do any random shit on game day.
Yeah, it's like don't get me wrong, it's like I want a meal. Like I said,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
hungry for the games, but I know that okay, if I that's in my stomach, I'm not. I'm
It's not
just
gonna feel good going through everything that you have to do.
right, right. I'm like, this is not gonna go well. Like, I don't want to, make like embarrass myself out there. I've done
Yeah.
that in
And
the
then
past
and
before,
then dinner is like the meal.
Right. Like that's like okay. I'm actually like okay. I have to chew a little bit more.
For sure. Was there any like coming off the games? I know sometimes people are like, I really just want to eat something specific, like eat crap, you know? Like, was there any like meal that you were looking forward to after the games?
I actually made a reservation at Texas Day Brazil, and I was like, I just want steak. So that
I
was
love that.
yeah, so that's what we had. And then my friend and I, we went to Philadelphia, and there was like a couple spots like, okay, we're gonna get a cheesesteak.
Yeah, duh.
There was we ended up going to this burger joint. I got a peanut butter bacon burger because it looked really good.
I
Uh,
am.
and like after that, I was pretty content with life. I was like, okay, I had my good fill of things. I had a donut. I was like, cool.
Yeah,
I
gotta have
think
some sweets in there, you know?
yeah. I'm a huge sweets person, and even like coming back to Charlottesville, like I'm like luckily like it's my relationship with food has gotten a lot better, and to say is okay, like I didn't just like all right, I only have Monday to venture out a little bit, but it was actually really cool that I could go and enjoy foods, but I didn't feel like I had to splurge. This was actually
Yeah,
kind of the first games that I felt like that.
and that's
And
super great.
yeah, and even I was like I went to like a boneless wing like half off boneless wings night at a bar here in Charlottesville with my friends. And it's like okay, I could have eaten basically 50 wings, but it's like no, I got my good share. It's like I had a few of the boneless wings, I had some smoked ones too, and I was like okay, this is great. And again, I mean, I got back into tracking pretty quickly just because I had this cross qualifier, but
Yeah,
beyond that is you know this is a time that if I'm going to go to an event, say okay, I went to my friend's birthday party and we had seafood boil and cake, and I'm gonna partake in that versus
mhm,
okay, if we're in games prep is all right, I'm gonna eat clean, I'm gonna eat foods that I know that agree with my system that are gonna fuel me versus the okay, like all right, there might be times that okay, like at these events, like oh, I don't they're at a seafood boil, like I could have had potatoes and corn, but I gravitated towards mainly the protein and fatty options. So,
yeah,
uh, but it not not even worrying about it. So
yeah,
this is time where okay, I experience life a little bit more, and then okay, and then for the game season, I can be more dialed in, and it's nice to I actually feel like again I have like a nice balance in my life now and not going over and be like above or thinking that I have to react and compensate for those moments as well. So that was like a nice breath of fresh air this year.
yeah. That is good because I know, like, with the history and stuff, like, it's important to be able to like be in that mindset, you know?
Yeah, like absolutely. And it's not to say it's like okay, like those thoughts, they pop in your
Of
head,
course,
but it's ones
always
that
there.
I'm like, yeah, and they're there. But it was nice to be like, oh, I don't have to respond to that or act in accordance to it.
Hmm.
And to say it's oh, I get to enjoy it. It's like oh, I get to enjoy a moment, and rather than be worried about food. It's like I get
Yeah.
to enjoy a day in Philadelphia. I get to enjoy a dinner with my family that I hardly ever get to see in
Mhm.
Albany. I get to again partake in a wing night with with my good friends here that supported me this summer that just basically took me under their wing just because they believed in me. So it's like okay, now I get to have these moments with people. So it's been really cool to see that 180 this year. I don't know why maybe it took me to, 28 to realize that, but it is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, finishing up the games talk, like, I want to know what was your favorite moment from the games, like, if you were to choose one.
Hmm. I mean, I feel like it was just Saturday night or Saturday, not night, but like Saturday in general. Those are two best finishes of the weekend. Uh, we just executed so well on the first event that day, from our synchro gymnastics to the worm itself. We realized that okay, we were probably one of, if not the best team on the worm that weekend regardless of, us not living together. So I think that was just a super cool moment seeing that, all right, our teamwork, though we're not together, like we knew how each other moved very well.
Yeah.
Then the back squat event, of course, just because that was an
Yeah.
event that like I mean, I was stressed about because I knew that I was a weak. I was like, well, I was weaker in the field of the back squat in general, and 300 is, you have Danny Spiegel, like, if he rows down, heading 350, but
Yeah, that's not
he
fair though. Like her thigh is as big as you, so it's fine.
yeah, yeah, he's like, I beat her on the run, bro, run. So,
There you
you
go.
know, there's that balance. So it's but to be able to hit 300 out on that floor was incredible. The energy was electrifying. It just felt like the whole crowd was for you, even if,
Yeah.
they were cheering on someone else at the same time.
Just such a cool event. Like when they announced the back squat, I was like, yes, like that is an event that is going to be electric for regardless of how heavy or how light you're lifting, right?
Right, because and that's a thing that, like, that's a movement that people beyond CrossFit can understand, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like people tune that in, they're like, yo, like that guy hit 5:15, but he can also hold like sub like 7-minute miles on this race.
That's the coolest thing about CrossFit is like they can run, they can lift, gymnastics. It's just like what can't you do, you know?
Right, right. So it was wild. It was wild, and even we're even in the athlete area watching the individuals go before we went, and I was like, all right, like seeing like Colton Mertens.
Colton Mertens, like I'm sorry, but he had way more in the tank. Throw 600
I
on
know.
that shit.
Oh my gosh, we were like all being like, like going like crazy back there. And I think like that fueled the teams, just being
Oh
like, oh,
yeah.
like seeing the individuals go before us. It was, dude, it was so cool. Like that, just like whole setup was awesome.
Hmm.
Um, Even like, I mean, our like flow, we had just 5 minutes to both establish a heavy single. So I was like, great, I don't have this like 3 attempts thing. I can go when I want.
That's nice.
I don't like it was so nice, and yeah, like then that was just a great way to end the day. So
Hmm.
Saturday was like just Saturday in general was the best part of the games.
Yeah. Nice. Well, what's next, right? Because I know you're doing the crash crucible. Is that what it
Yeah,
is? Yeah, you're doing the
yeah,
qualifiers right now, like
I'm
not
doing the
right this
qualifiers
second.
right now.
But
Yeah, yeah, I did.
so you're doing
Uh
that, but what's like next for you? So you took a couple days off, I presume.
yeah, I took 3 days off, and then I did like a little something Thursday and Friday. Took the weekend off. I went to Melbourne, Florida for my best friend's birthday.
Nice.
And then, yeah, Monday I kind of just got back into it because of the qual for the qualifiers. So I had like somewhat of, I breathed a little bit and I lifted some heavy weights a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully, I qualify for Crash Crucible and that'll be in October. I other than that, I'm doing for fun Lake Norman Fit Fest in the Charlotte area.
Hmm.
Very cool team competition, team of four. I'm doing it with I did team last year with two of my teammates, and then we had to swap out one due to a schedule conflict. So, but that'll be fun. The game or the workouts are very games-esque. So, it's always just fun to throw down. It's a 2-day comp. And then I'm going to Pensacola Beach Brawl. I'm doing individual Friday and Saturday, having fun on the beach. I've been wanting to do this competition for years, so to finally be able to do it is I'm super floored. And then jumping on a team Sunday just for fun. So
That's fun.
yeah, so that's it right now. I do want an off season, so after Crash, I I really don't want to sign up for any comps. I might go to spectate or even help out. But beyond that, I think the only way I would compete before the game season, or I do want to consider WFP next year, is Wadapalooza, just because I think Sam and I will get a team invite for placing top 5 at the
I
games.
would hope so. I mean,
Josh got one last year, but he couldn't put a team together because you do need to
mm,
have only games athletes on your team.
hmm.
So, unless like if Sam wants to participate, I mean that's in March this year, so it's very weird in its timing. Who knows what that's gonna look like because it'll be right after the Open. Kind of
There's a lot of weird competition timings this year. Like the fact that
yeah,
like so many individual games athletes just came off of the fucking CrossFit Games and they are like, oh well, WFP's in 2 weeks. So
right. It's to say is, we all have to kind of navigate this new competitions like, series, and all these competitions moving dates for certain reasons. And
Mm-hmm.
like for me, I will admit that I did compete a lot in the off season and even a lot during the season. So I do want to, give space to actually to be able to train and to be able to get better and not have, a competition once a month.
Yeah, that would be
Even
nice.
though I did overload my September and October, it is like, okay, after October, let's chill out for a little bit. Again, just being able to, I could still enjoy the community aspect
Mhm.
by, going to spectate, going to, work and be like I MC a comp in June. It's like I can do the same thing and
Yeah,
still be a part of the community and grow the sport and grow CrossFit, but not compete and break down my body.
hard to say. Now next year, do you have any thoughts upon individual or team where you want to go?
I go back and forth. I
Mm.
would love for this team to run it back.
Yeah, that'd be
But
sick.
I think right now it's like we're, trying to get some space from the games. We're still riding, it's like we're still riding the high, and I think all of us are like, let's do it again, right?
Yeah.
Uh, but I think once it dies down in September, maybe all of us sitting down and saying, is this realistic for our lives right now? And if it's not, then I believe I'll be going individual unless the team, like another team of my dreams that potentially could be better travel wise comes up. But all in all, I'm kind of loyal to this team. I would rather I mean, even, be associated with the EMOM company versus another brand in the space. But so at that point is it if this team doesn't work out, I will most likely go the individual this year.
Interesting. Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see what's next, like just watching you, and I'm really pumped to meet you face to face at Pensacola Beach Brawl. I'm
I
gonna get my
know.
ass kicked at that competition, but you know what? That's how we learn.
Dude, that's how you grow. I mean, I know like, my like first like really big competitions, I'm like, I don't have a muscle up, but I kind of ish have everything else, then I'll just get my teeth kicked in. But
It's kind of where
then
I'm at.
but there were events that I did really well and knowing like, oh, I could hang with the field.
It's like in
So
my head, I'm like, I have to work on rope climbs because I need to work on rope climbs. But the one thing is like, I'd rather be an intermediate and like be dead last than be in scaled and like be like she shouldn't be in scaled. You know what I mean?
right, right. And dude, like that's like I tell that to everybody. And but like there's some people that are like, I just want to be the top of the pack, but I'm like that
That's not
doesn't
how you learn. That's not how you grow. That's what I keep saying to myself. I'd rather sit on that competition floor and get like my teeth kicked in and then learn and grow from it. And then maybe at that point, my noggin will be like, yeah, your coach was right. You should probably do that like less conditioning, more strength cycle, you know?
It's like, you have to have like you have to have those moments. Yeah, like,
Mm,
you need exposure. Like you need exposure to what you need to work on. Or
exactly.
you realize like actually like, oh, maybe you're already the best at the field and you had this unrealistic expectation of a certain thing when in reality you're already like one of the better ones. I mean, I
Which is
say
what
that
I
all
hope
the time.
happens.
No, I mean, I like, when I went to the Dubai CrossFit Championship, there was a
Hmm.
one rep max clean complex. I'm like, I'm gonna get, bottom 10. I got like 10th place. I was
Nice.
like, oh my gosh. I was like, oh, A, I'm strong. B is like, okay, I was just like did what I could do. And I executed well. And I was like, I'm a strong person. Like yeah, it's just like you never know. So it's sometimes it does like it's like you realize like, oh, okay, your work is paying off. So you get to
Yeah.
see that shine, and not just the lessons as well.
Truth. Truth. Well, Hannah, thank you for being on the show again. As per usual, I will put all Hannah's information down in the show notes so that you guys can follow along. But I'm sure we'll have you back at some point because I just love talking to you.
Dude, we should do something at Beach Brawl.
We should actually, because we can do like a fucking live thing at Beach Brawl. We're gonna have to work that out.
Ah, that'd be epic. I'd be down.
That would be, yeah, awesome. Well, everybody who's listening, go out and do one thing that's gonna take you one step closer to where you want to be.